James and the Daring Rescue in Neverland. Once upon a time, in the magical land of Neverland, there was a brave young boy named James. At 7 years old, James had a heart full of adventure and a spirit that could never be tamed. He lived with his family, but every night, when he closed his eyes, he found himself on incredible adventures with his friends Peter Pan and Tinker Bell. One starry night, James dreamt that he was flying high above the shimmering waters of Neverland, alongside Peter Pan, who loved nothing more than soaring through the skies. Peter's passion for flying was infectious, and James felt a sense of freedom as they glided over the lush green islands below. Tinker Bell, Peter's best friend, sparkled beside them, her tiny wings fluttering rapidly. She was a small fairy with a big heart, and she shared Peter's love for chocolate cake, which James found delightful. Together, the trio laughed and played, weaving through clouds and diving towards the treetops. But all was not well in Neverland. Captain Hook, the fearsome pirate with a hook for a hand, had been causing trouble. He was Peter and Tinker Bell's greatest enemy, always scheming and plotting to capture them. Hook's heart was filled with jealousy and spite, and he sought to take over Neverland and make it his own. One day, as Peter, Tinker Bell, and James were exploring the island, they heard a commotion coming from the direction of the Lost Boys' hideout. The Lost Boys, Peter's loyal companions, were in trouble. Hook and his band of pirates had found their secret lair and were closing in on them fast. Peter, who valued courage and friendship above all else, knew they had to act quickly. He turned to James, his eyes filled with determination. "James, we must save the Lost Boys. They are our friends, and we can't let Hook capture them," he said firmly. James nodded, his heart pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. "I'll do whatever it takes, Peter. Let's go." With Tinker Bell leading the way, the three friends flew swiftly to the Lost Boys' hideout. When they arrived, they saw the young boys surrounded by a group of menacing pirates. The Lost Boys looked scared but were bravely trying to defend their home. Peter swooped down, his sword drawn, and called out to Hook, "Leave them alone, Hook. Your fight is with me." Captain Hook sneered, his eyes gleaming with malice. "Ah, Peter Pan, you always show up at the worst times. But this time, you won't be able to save them." James felt a surge of courage. He remembered the stories Peter had told him about the importance of bravery and friendship. He knew that together, they could overcome any obstacle. Without hesitating, he grabbed a nearby stick and leaped into the fray, swinging it at the pirates. Tinker Bell darted around, using her magic to create distractions and confuse the pirates. Peter, with his quick reflexes and unmatched skills, engaged Hook in a fierce duel. The clashing of their swords echoed through the forest as sparks flew from their blades. James fought valiantly, his heart pounding with determination. He managed to knock a pirate off balance, giving the Lost Boys a chance to regroup. "Come on, we can do this," he shouted, inspiring the Lost Boys to join the fight with renewed vigor. As the battle raged on, it became clear that Hook and his pirates were no match for the combined forces of Peter, James, Tinker Bell, and the Lost Boys. One by one, the pirates were driven back, their spirits broken. Hook, realizing he was outnumbered and outmatched, let out a frustrated roar. "You may have won this time, Peter Pan, but mark my words, I'll be back." Hook spat, retreating with his remaining crew. The victorious cheers of the Lost Boys filled the air as they celebrated their hard-won freedom. Peter turned to James, his eyes filled with pride. "You were incredible, James. Your bravery and friendship saved the day." James, out of breath but beaming with happiness, replied, "I couldn't have done it without all of you. We're a team, and together, we can do anything." Tinker Bell fluttered around, her light casting a warm glow. "James is right. We make a great team, and as long as we stick together, we can face any challenge that comes our way." That night, as they sat around a crackling campfire, the friends shared stories and laughter. Peter handed James a piece of his favorite chocolate cake, and they all enjoyed the sweet treat together. As the fire dimmed and the stars twinkled above, James felt a deep sense of contentment. He knew that no matter what adventures lay ahead, he had friends who would stand by him, and he would always have the courage to face any challenge. And so, in the magical land of Neverland, where dreams and adventures never ended, James learned the true value of bravery and friendship. With Peter Pan, Tinker Bell, and the Lost Boys by his side, he knew that every night would bring new adventures and that together, they could conquer anything. And with that comforting thought, James drifted off to sleep, ready for whatever the next night's dream would bring. The end.
Created by a kid and their parent using Talebot, click the link in the video description to create your own story.